Okay, for the budgie problem, right here, where it says big Y and any other Y, and big B, any other B is green, that means I could have big Y, big B, and that would be a green budgie. Or I could have big Y, and big B, and that would be a green budgie. Or I could have big Y, and big B, and that would be a green budgie. So these lines, these underscores, just mean you could fill in any version, any other version of that gene, and that would produce this offspring. So like with this one over here, if I have little y with big B and anything else for the other B gene from the other parent, you're going to end up with a blue budgie. For this one, big Y combined with either big or little y combined with homozygous recessive for the B gene, that's going to give you a yellow budgie. And then finally, if you're recessive for both the Y and the B gene, you're going to end up a white budgie. So then it's asking these questions. A green budgie crossed with a blue budgie, which of the following is not possible? I would draw the following Punnett squares. Remember, you need one Punnett square for each gene. Here's how we work it. I'm going to say this Punnett square is for my Y gene, and this one over here is for my B gene. Okay, what this shows me is that pretty much any combination is possible in my offspring as far as the B gene goes. I could get homozygous dominant, I could get heterozygous, because remember that could be a big or a little b. I could also get homozygous recessive, because that could be two little b's. On the other side here, on the Y gene, I could get big Y, or I could get little y, but I really couldn't get a homozygous dominant over here. Could I? So let's see here. I crossed a... No, I really couldn't get a homozygous dominant, could I? Okay, so which of the following results are not possible? Well, let's see here. I crossed a green budgie with a blue budgie. Which results aren't possible? The only one I couldn't get is one that requires me to be homozygous dominant. Do any of these require me to be homozygous dominant? That doesn't have to be. That's homozygous recessive. That one doesn't have to be homozygous dominant. And that one doesn't have to be homozygous dominant. So none of these require me to be homozygous dominant. And remember, I could have any combination for the B, so all these B combinations work. So it means I could produce any one of these. I could have big Y, and big B, little b. That would work. I could have little y. That could be one of these guys. And I could have big B, little something. That would work. Or I could have big Y coupled with something and two little b's. Yep, I could get the two little b's from that one right there. Or I could get all homozygous recessive. I could have little y with a little b. So that means all the offspring are possible. So it would be, this is your right answer. On the second budgie question, if I've got 22 offspring, where is it? 22 offspring, 5 of which are white. Well, that to me looks like about a 3-to-1 ratio, or 75% ended up, no, 25% ended up white. And white, I know from the information in the problem up here, white is recessive for both alleles, or recessive for both genes, rather. So when I go to set this up, again, I need 2 Punnett squares for the 2 genes I'm concerned with. Here's 1. Here's 2. I'm going to do my Y genes over here. 2 blue budgies were crossed. All right, so if I'm a blue budgie, I got to go up here and figure out what blue is. It's homozygous recessive for the Y. So I got little y, nope, I've got little y, crossed with another blue budgie who is also little y. So that means I'm going to get all little y's everywhere. Everybody's homozygous recessive for the Y gene. And then if it's a blue budgie, it means it's also dominant with something else. So I got B and that blank line that I don't know what that one is. So that gives me all of these possibilities, which is going to be everything. and some blank, and blank blank, which of course the wild cards give me everything. Okay, so now it says, what are most likely the genotypes of the two blue budgies? They're producing 1/4 white. So that means to produce their white offspring, let's see here, they would have to produce little y, and little b. Well, let's see here. The only way they're producing little b is if these two are little b's. So this guy must be carrying a little b, and that guy must be carrying a little b. So the answer to the question here is that the two blue budgies we originally crossed, they must have a little b there and a little b there to produce any white budgies, really. That's the only way you could get white budgies from these parents, is if their second allele over here for both of them is a little b. So it must be this one. Should be letter E, is the only one that works. Budgie coat or feather color is an example of epistasis because it took two genes to give you all the distinct different phenotypes. Again, it's not a bell curve distribution, so it's not a polygenic trait, but it took multiple genes to make it happen. So that's what epistasis is all about. You still get distinct categories of phenotypes, not a bell curve distribution. If you roll a pair of dice, what's probably both come up 3? Well, I'm taking 1 out of 6 chance of rolling one dice of 3, and I'm multiplying it by another 1 out of 6, so I get 1 out of 36. If a human individual carries 2 factors for most traits, a human individual carries 2 factors for most traits because each individual is diploid. You have 2 of every kind of chromosome is what that means, and that's why you can carry up to 2 different versions of the same gene. That's all. Hope it helped. If you have questions, come in with them tomorrow. We'll have time to review.